This is the former football ultra waging gangland war in Scotland, who rose from the terraces to the top table of the criminal underworld. Ross McGill emerged as a force in soccer during the period Steven Gerrard was in charge of the Glasgow Giants. The former Union Bears ultra is seen here with hundreds of hardcore Ger supporters during matchday marches, acting as a ringleader, bellowing instructions through a megaphone at the intimidating group. McGill looks to be revelling in his leadership role with the Ibrox fanatics as the cops keep a close eye on their movements ahead of a powder keg Old Firm derby in March 2018. Sources say McGill's ability to rally troops to call has served him well in his current and far more sinister position at the top table of a fearsome crime mob. A source said, "There is no doubt McGill was a natural leader, and you could see it when he was at the front of a Union Bears march. A lot of the guys in the Union Bears movement are serious people who you wouldn't want to cross, so it takes a strong character to lead them and win their trust. McGill has that in spades, and he loved being in the limelight." The Scottish Sun was the first to unmask McGill after the Ultras chief turned power-hungry mob boss launched a revenge campaign of violence against underworld rivals. Former aspiring businessman McGill rose to prominence in football circles as a key organiser and public-facing figure of the Rangers Ultras movement. The Union Bears started around 2007 when McGill was a Rangers daft 13-year-old and talented youth athlete growing up in East Kilbride. By his late teens he began a journey through the Ultras ranks that would see him become a prominent leader of the group known as a capo. He quickly became a respected figure and was also seen leading marches to Ibrox Stadium with the usual masked hordes, pyros and footy chants at fever pitch. Brimming with a self-confidence verging on cocky, McGill rarely, if ever, hid his face like many of his fellow supporters. He was seen in some quarters as the respectable face of the fan movement, and was even interviewed in a supporters' podcast about his talks with Ibrox chiefs. McGill was making his mark nonetheless, and when he decided to step away from this leadership role, he was given a send-off in 2021 by then-manager Steven Gerrard. He posed for a photo at the Ibrox tunnel as he and the Liverpool and England legend beamed for the camera. Light Blue skipper James Tavernier shared a picture on Twitter in July 2019 when McGill presented him with a trophy from the Ultras. The ace wrote, "Honoured to have received last year's Player of the Year award from Ross and the Union Bears last night." In September 2021, McGill announced he was leaving his role as the so-called Union Bears lead capo, sparking a wave of tributes from fellow fans. One wrote in a forum, "Wish him all the best. He's built that group from nothing and led a tremendous singing section for years." Gerrard, Tavernier and fellow fans would have had no clue that by then McGill was well and truly on the police radar and had a court date looming over allegations he was involved in drug dealing and serious organised crime. It's claimed he initially fled to Spain before switching to Dubai, where he resurfaced as an aspiring mob boss who launched a bitter gang war amid claims he'd been ripped off by rival dealers. The people he blamed were associates of caged Edinburgh crime kingpin Mark Richardson, who is a long-standing ally of Glasgow's notorious Daniel clan. Word quickly spread through the underworld that McGill, at that time virtually unknown to the public, was the ambitious and furious mobster behind a wave of attacks across Scotland. Initially he was only referred to by the nickname Miami, and the watching world got a glimpse into the luxury lifestyle he was living when a picture of him emerged grinning behind the wheel of a white Rolls Royce. He is among scores of gangsters who have fled to the United Arab Emirates, where they can rake in millions and live a life Scots back in the schemes where they came from can only dream of. There is no extradition treaty between Dubai and the UK authorities, so villains can enjoy the fruits of their ill-gotten gains, living a seemingly untouchable life of luxury. They spend their days in five-star hotels under blistering sunshine, driving supercars, spending time in yachts and enjoying champagne lifestyles while mixing in nightclubs with beautiful women and social media influencers who show off their millions to followers. But peel back the veil of glitz and glamour and there is an uglier world of drug dealing and violence that fuels the gangsters' greed. It doesn't play out in Dubai, where the notoriously strict authorities there don't tolerate trouble, but in Scotland, where a stream of willing foot soldiers have been doing McGill's dirty work. Sources say McGill uses Spanish connections to keep his hands clean of violence he orders in Scotland. Mobsters in Marbella are said by sources to have played a key role in identifying targets and recruiting foot soldiers to carry out McGill's instructions. Leading figures based in the Sunshine Bolt toll include Stephen Lyons and Ross McGill, along with other convicted mobsters operating from Spain. And it has resulted in months of carnage across Glasgow and Edinburgh and sparked a wave of police raids and more than 30 arrests as McGill's true identity was revealed. The Scottish Sun unmasked and named the bearded and charismatic hood, who sources say has his sights set on becoming Scotland's #1 gangster. There have been claims of attempted truce talks initiated by heavies sympathetic to Stephen Bonzo Daniel, whose family have been ruthlessly targeted by mobsters working for McGill. He has rebuffed any efforts to end the chaos though, and is said to have the backing of the Daniels' long-standing enemies in the Lyons crime family. Evidence of McGill's determination to make his mark as a ruthless leader not to be crossed was reinforced on Monday when 3 thugs following orders stormed a garage in East Kilbride. The car repair firm is run by convicted heroin dealer Robert Daniel, who it's claimed was the main target for the trio, who were armed with knives and machetes. 2 other victims, aged 45 and 41, were on the receiving end of a bloodbath that resulted in both being rushed to hospital. There is no doubt McGill's meteoric rise has stunned Scotland, and sources from the criminal underworld are warning of more carnage to come. A source said of McGill, "He is not the typical guy you would expect to be involved in organised crime, never mind at the top of the tree. But he has the charisma and come across as a very affable and credible guy. But there's another side to him though, and when you look closely, you can see the chaos in his eyes."